Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and good holiday and enjoyed good food. Okay, so I want to introduce myself. My name is Stacey. Welcome. If this is your first time, I'm an infidelity recovery coach. I help unfaithful people heal from their affairs. Several years ago, I had an affair. It was really devastating for me. It was hard on my family, my marriage. Everything was just in an uproar, and I felt so alone and misunderstood, and I really couldn't express how I was feeling. I couldn't find a place for myself, something for me to heal personally. So it was then that I knew, once I got through recovery, that I was going to offer what I learned to other people and be there for you guys, because I really do care about you. And I don't believe that we should suffer in silence. I believe that there should be a place created for you, just for you, so you can heal. Because the truth of the matter is, if you are the unfaithful spouse, if you don't completely heal from this affair, you won't be able to reconcile 100% with your spouse. You won't be able to go back and work on that marriage and give it your all, because you are still broken and you're still hurt. So that is why I'm here. I'm here for you. My heart is to help you completely heal and get through this, to go from heal to whole, from hurting to whole, I should say, because I really do want the best for you. So if you would like to work with me, or if you have any questions, I will leave a link down below in the description box. I offer a free chat, and we can just, get together and we can chat and assess, and I can assess where you are and give you a plan that is personalized for your life and your particular stage of recovery. Okay, so let's get into today's verse. Y'all, I had vacation last week, and I was off for a whole week, and I am I'm still playing catch up, trying to get my mind back into work mode. Okay, so today's video is 6 reasons why affairs fall apart. I really believe we need to talk about this, because a lot of times when you go into having an affair, you don't realize that it's probably gonna end. Not in a sense where you think, okay, I mean, maybe in the back of your mind you might have that, this probably won't last, that kind of thing. But really, we have that hope that, especially if we make that strong connection with our affair partner, we have that hope that, oh my gosh, this is gonna be good, we can get together, that type of thing. So because infidelity is such a taboo topic, and nobody really talks about what goes on behind the scenes of the unfaithful person, what they're thinking, we really don't have the knowledge out there to let us know, hey, we need to be warned about infidelity in general. So I have 6 reasons why I believe that affairs fall apart, and we can get in them. Okay, so the first one is, you bonded over misery and excitement. So what brings us together is the unhappiness we feel in our marriage. So it's not a secret that, both sides, both people who are having an affair are unhappy in their marriage. Because really, if you are really content with your spouse and really enjoying your spouse, or even content within yourself, let me say that, there's really no reason why you would go have an affair. So, and I judge myself on that right now. I say, okay, well, I'm really happy with my husband. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, he still makes mistakes, but I'm still happy with him, and I'm content with myself. So, and I look at infidelity completely different now. So I know that's not something that I would want to do. But when back then, before I had the affair, and when I was talking to my affair partner, we both, we bonded over, oh my God, you get me, you understand me, that, we're going through a bad time. Like, my marriage is not great, your marriage is not great. I'm not getting what I need, you're not getting what you need. So you feel like you found your tribe, in a sense where this person gets me, we have things in common, and you make that attachment. And on the flip side of that, of course, is the excitement of the newness of a relationship. And it can cause you to feel alive. It makes you feel something you haven't felt probably in years, or if ever. So there's the excitement of that. There's the rush of, the new feelings, making a new friend in a sense where you're getting to know each other. So it's very exciting. So you bond this away. But the thing with that is the excitement fades. You might still have that bond there of, hey, they get me, they understand me, we understand each other, but the excitement fades because, dopamine fades, oxytocin comes down. These chemicals, they run at a high level in the beginning of a relationship, but your physical body can only withstand that high of a rush for about 18 months, and then it starts to wane down. And when it wanes down and starts to fade, then a lot of people get confused even with that. That's when you're in that place of, I like you, but I'm attached to you now. I can't let you go. And I see a lot of, when people get to the when affair couples get to the power struggle stage of their relationship, that's when you get to that place where we're on and off again. We're on, we're off, we break up, we get back together. That's where that comes in at. And that's because you don't have that, that dopamine fuel of excitement. The newness is wearing off. And then, pressure is setting in, of course. Now, I will say this, let me just make note that what I have noticed is that in a normal situation where you have two free people or two single people getting together and having a relationship, they, that dopamine, that romantic stage chemically, usually ends around 2 years. But when you're having an affair, I notice that you can drag that out a little bit longer, and that's because you're not in that constant contact. You are in a sense where, you might text all day, but you're still dragging out the excitement because you might see them once a week. Whereas if you were dating, you'd probably see each other every day or, more than once a week, that type of thing. So that's why they fade. That's one of the reasons why they fall apart, because the foundation, the whole thing that drew them together, what was pulling them together was not necessarily, hey, I really do, I'm really interested in you. It was really the bond that held them together was, we're suffering in our marriages. That was the bond that was, holding the couple together. And that's not a strong enough foundation to make a lifelong relationship. Okay, so number 2, we don't really know each other. So we quickly attach to each other and feel safe from beginning. This is where we place those rose-colored glasses and you are my savior, you're everything I've ever wanted, you're Superman, you're, whatever. And that's who you are to me. And I just, that's how I see you. And we ignore all the red flags. For me, I ignored everyone, and I'm sure he ignored mine too. Of course, I had red flags. We're both in this together, right? We both come together for the same reasons. We both have the same issues. So he ignored my red flags and we just pushed through. But you can only ignore things for so long, and then stuff starts to resurface, or who they really are and who you really are, that starts to surface, and then you can see the like the conflict that, hey, oh my God, this isn't what I thought it was, or what happened to that person that I first met? Like, where are you? Why are you not, singing my praises? Or why are you not pursuing me as much as you did in the beginning? What's going on? We just don't know each other. And as we start to see these red flags and we start applying all of this pressure onto the other person to perform and to do what they did in the beginning, that's usually when the relationship ends, because no one can keep up a front forever. And even though we have affairs that can last 10 years or longer, I still find that the pace of an affair relationship goes really quickly, so you can be from 0 to 10 in a month, where you're going from I like you to I love you in 2 weeks. So, you can go really quickly with emotional wise with an affair. But you can also go quickly when things start to crumble as well. And that pressure to return back to the way you were in the beginning is just, it's too much. It's too much on the relationship, because the foundation is not built on anything that is sustainable. Okay, so number three, our expectations of the relationship are too high. We expect too much from our affair partners. And when they don't deliver, we're devastated and conflict enters the picture. So this one kind of goes a little bit with number two, where we expect. So when we go into the relationship, it's not that we're living in a fantasy world, but we're living in a world that we created. We see a person and we see them, for how they portray themselves to us, and we see the relationship for how we want to see it, basically, because you are relief to me. I was in a bad place. Now you're giving me something good. So you feel like a cold drink of water on a scorching hot day. You were that relief. But that kind of fantasy, that kind of like, I just want this to last. I just want you to keep being my supply. That expectation is too much for the relationship, because nobody can supply you with what you need 100% of the time. That is just impossible for anyone to do. That was an expectation I had of my husband. That was an expectation I had of my affair partner, and it didn't work. My affair partner, I saw a lot of things that if I was a single person and if he was single, I would not date him, because that's just not the type of person that I wanted to be with, in a sense. He just really wasn't my type of guy. But I ignored all of that because I did not want him to stop doing what he was doing for me. It was very selfish in nature. He was supplying me with something, and that expectation I had of him was extremely high. And I didn't really apply a lot of pressure to him. I think because the relationship lasted almost a year, and it wasn't enough time. But I know myself. So I know that as time went on, I probably would have applied more pressure to him, which he wouldn't have been able to sustain. Now, he did apply a little pressure to me, which was very overwhelming, which was, just the pressure to stay, just some things he had asked me to do, while he was getting himself in order, in his situation. And I just, I remember him asking, can you do this? Can you do this? Or can you wait? And I felt the pressure, and I could feel his expectation. Hey, I thought you loved me, like, why can't you wait? Or why can't you do this? And that's the thing, we're putting expectations on people who are not faithful, who are not loyal. And the same is for ourselves. It's just unwarranted. It's gonna fail. It's not gonna last. The whole relationship, in a nutshell, is not built on a strong enough foundation. It's created by Satan to begin with. It's not something God created. God will never send you someone else's husband. Even if you're miserable, God will never operate that way. There's a way to, if you're in a dangerous situation in your marriage, or you're being abused, there's a way to exit the marriage and then pursue another relationship. You want to keep your integrity intact. But you have to think about it. When you start applying expectations and start applying that pressure to that relationship, that person is going to pull back. You will see them, I need to take a break. Or they might disappear for a couple of weeks and not call you. Or they might be sporadic in what's going on and how they interact with you, and it's the pressure. So, number 4, the spouses find out, which changes the dynamics of the relationship. So, we think that we're living in this bubble when we're having an affair, and it's just going to stay like this forever, and one day we'll get married and live happily ever after. That just doesn't happen, okay? In reality, it doesn't. I know that 3% of couples who have an affair, they do end up getting together, but I will tell you, once the spouses find out, that is usually the end of the relationship, because the shock of the shock of the spouse finding out is enough to wake up one of you. It's a jolt. It's like, oh my God, I could lose my whole family. I could lose my kids. I could lose my finances. I could lose, all the stuff I've invested all these years. I could lose that. I don't want to share my kids. I don't want to be a part-time dad or mom. And that is enough to say, okay, I'm done. So I say that because I know, if most of you know my story, but if you don't, you know that I was married once before, right out of high school. and I had an affair on my first husband. Well, I ended up marrying that affair partner. Well, during my first marriage, when I was having an affair with that person, which is my current husband, when I was having an affair with him, our spouses did find out. And that was the end of the relationship. That was it. We just, it's like, okay, our spouses find out. I have kids. He didn't, but still, it's too risky. We're done. Now, with my second affair partner, when his wife found out and my husband found out, that completely changed the dynamic of our relationship. Now we couldn't see each other at certain places. We couldn't meet at certain places we used to meet at. We had to get fake, like different kind of phones. We had to have fake accounts. It just made things more harder and difficult for us to be together. So that a pressure applied, the relationship can usually end. Did ours end that way? Not exactly. That wasn't really the reason mine ended. But I ended mine because I didn't want to lose my family. But again, that was the jolt I needed to wake up and say, hey, you're not in the best place. All right, so that's number 4. Number 5, it becomes more painful to remain in the relationship than it does to leave the relationship. So in the beginning, we're all happy and, everything's a bed of roses and we're excited. But towards the end of the relationship, it becomes very, very painful. And usually over time, that is when one or maybe both says, you know what, I just can't take this pain anymore. There's, nothing's going on, nothing's changing. We're just spinning our wheels and I just don't want to live like this anymore. I'm done. I'm over. I've lost 2 years of my life and nothing has happened. I might have destroyed my marriage. I'm done. So when it gets to a painful place, which it does, it always does. Don't be fooled and think yours will not get to this painful place, because it will. That's another reason it will fall apart. Now, the last one, in my opinion, is the best. I say the best one. It's the most important one for you to understand, and that is the same coping skills that you both share, you're bringing into that relationship. So what an affair can show you about yourself is that you don't have good coping skills when things get tough, when things get hard. You have a tendency to run and seek pleasure outside of yourself in an unhealthy way. That's where we get alcoholism and drug addiction. We're seeking an escape from what we can't deal with, or we're seeking to control a situation that we feel like we're out of control. So we, go to unhealthy vices. So you have to think about it. Neither one of you guys have healthy coping skills and you're trying to have a lasting relationship. So what happens with that is eventually somebody is gonna start a relationship while they're having an affair. So they're having 2 affairs. I've seen that happen. And that's just common. I mean, that is an expectation. If you want an expectation, expect that. Expect that your affair partner will respond to you when things get hard the same way they did with their spouse, and vice versa with you. When things get hard, you're going to respond to him the same way you did with your husband. So that right there will give you a glimpse into the future of what you can expect from an affair relationship. It's not rainbows and butterflies 24/7. It feels like it, but it's not, and it's going to come to an end. I believe that it's important for you guys to know this and to really think about this and think about what you're doing, because the fantasy that surrounds this, or your escape world that you've created around this person, is just that. It's not real life in a sense where it can sustain that closeness that you feel right now for a long period of time. So I hope this helped bring awareness and helped you to see that affairs are not really built to last. They're not even created by God. So it's almost like Satan has, hijacked a little bit of what God created, which is our ability to fall in love, and put some kind of, fake relationship to get, not fake in a sense of how you feel, but just to give you the illusion that this is going to last and it's going to be as good as what God created, and that's just not the case. It never will be. Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.